Right behind me here is the Dome of the Rock and the Alaska Mosque, and this is the most contested piece of real estate on the earth. This is what the Palestinians are fighting over it. This is what broke the peace talks in the year 2000. Ehud Barak offered it to be international, and Arafat wouldn't accept it. He wanted sovereignty over the Temple Mount. And the word Armageddon in Hebrew is very problematic because the book of Revelation says that they gathered together in a place in the Hebrew tongue is Armageddon. But actually it looks as though it's been mistranslated, and it's really Har Abayit, which means the Temple Mount there. Which really fits in, because if you read Isaiah 14, Satan wants two things. He wants to exalt his throne above the stars of God and the clouds, and he also wants to sit on the Har Moed, on the Mount of Assembly, which is right here. He wants God's heavenly throne and his earthly throne. And Jesus said, when you see the abomination which causes desolation in a holy place. This hasn't happened yet. In the book of Daniel, we have this prophesied. Jesus said Daniel prophesied about it. And we have all these days. We have 1,260 days, 1,335 days, a times and half a time, 2,300 morning and evenings. There's so much prophesied on this period of time. There's more prophecy in the Bible that focuses on this period of time than on any other time period in all the history of mankind. So this is here. And what we know is that they are making it into an international city. They're closing Jerusalem off as a circle around it, and they have checkpoints ready to put up. Even Israelis like me would need a passport to get into it. So when we go around Jerusalem, you'll see in our public places, they've got pictures of Muslims, Christians, and Jews praying together. And the motto is they're going to make this city a house of prayer for all nations. They're going to have a one world religion here. And it's going to look good at first, but after a while, the Antichrist will reveal his true colors, his true identity, and not only will Jerusalem be a prayer house for all nations, but he will be the God of all nations. He will set up himself as God here. So it doesn't matter really who gets in our elections or whether Trump stays in. Since 2003, they've been planning to do this. And they've been planning to make Jerusalem an international city, and they've been investing billions of dollars in paving a path around Jerusalem, the most sophisticated surveillance cameras in the world, lighting, checkpoints. They're all ready to go. And when this happens, of course, we'll have the false prophet and the two witnesses. And as someone living here and seeing them do it right under my nose, and actually working with Israel's top archaeologists who have told me that the government has asked them to draw up plans to divide the Temple Mount. And of course, the Temple Mount will be divided, half for the Gentiles, which be the World Council of Churches, or the World One Religion, and half for the Jews. And something that I've seen in Israel, which has never happened before, is that the Palestinians are preparing their population. As much as they're against the peace process, their school children are now visiting Jewish and Christian holy sites. This never ever used to be. And they're conditioning them to embrace Christians and Buddhists in this one world religion. It's not just a few teachers acting in their own initiative. This is their educational system that are preparing their public for it. So the Temple Mount faithful say that they have the Ark of the Covenant in their possession. We have a red heifer. Jerusalem is ready to be divided and become an international city. I know the Trump plan hasn't specifically mentioned Jerusalem being an international city. It's in stages. But the Trump plan, in my opinion, is very dangerous because Trump is giving back land, which is God's. In Leviticus 25, God says the land is mine forever. It's what will draw God into a collision course with the nations, because God said he will judge the nations for dividing his land. And once we give away God's land, I think we're in trouble. And Jesus said to be aware of the yeast of the Pharisees and of Herod. Herod is humanism, Pharisees is religion, and we've both got both these elements coming together to enthrone the Antichrist. And Trump, I believe that he is a friend of Israel. He does love Israel, but it's humanism. It is not God's solution to give away God's land, and I don't think this is good for him personally. Or good for the Americans as a people. And I was in America the night before Trump announced the peace plan, and the intercessors that I was speaking to assured me that Trump wouldn't give back land, and I assured them that he would. And it looks about 70 or 80% of the West Bank at the moment, but of course the Palestinians won't accept that much. So really what's going on here, we're on a collision course, and everything is all ready to happen here.